Just a few minutes after 4:30. I'd like to call the September meeting of the Justice Committee to order. We have a quorum present. We are missing only Member Bloomfield, who is planning to join us. Our first order of business is approval of minutes from the July 21, 2020 special meeting and the August 4, 2020 regular meeting. I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes. Moved by Member Martin, seconded by Member Soldner. Questions, comments, or discussion? Hearing none, I believe we need to take a roll call vote. Ms. Morlock, I'll ask you to call the roll.
Will you be voting, sir?
Yes, I will. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Went,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Robustelli,
Yes.
Member Martin,
Yes.
Member Soldner,
Yes.
Member Bloomfield. Oh, that's right, she's not here. Sorry. Chairman Gordon.
Yes, thank you. Ms. Rodriguez, do we have any appearances by members of the public this afternoon?
Chairman Gordon, we have no appearances by members of the public.
Thank you. We will then move to Departmental Matters, Section 4 of our packet. And we will begin with Mr. Donovan, the Director of Court Services. Mike, welcome.
Welcome.
We have no items for action today, and Court Services Adult and Juvenile Division statistics. Is there anything in those statistics that you would care to highlight for us?
No, we don't have anything to bring up, but I'm welcome to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Are there questions for Mr. Donovan from members of the committee? Last chance. Thank you, sir. Hearing none. Appreciate your being here, and we appreciate the information you've provided.
All right, thank you. Have a great evening.
And you too. Next, Mr. Everhart, the McLean County Circuit Clerk. Item B1A, there is an item for action. Request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County Fiscal Year 2020 Combined Annual Appropriation and Budget Ordinance found on pages 10 and 11 in our packet. I'll entertain a motion. Moved by Member Soldner, seconded by Member Schaefer. Mr. Everhart, would you care to briefly explain and, if appropriate, highlight this proposal?
Yes, I'd be glad to. Good evening. This is a request to appropriate money into the Court Automation Fund to purchase document scanners. The clerk's office is working toward implementing electronic filing of criminal case types, and these scanners are needed in assisting in that process.
Thank you. Are there questions for Mr. Everhart about this proposal? Don, anything else that you would care to add?
These are workhorses. These are scanners that we currently use in the civil case filings. And so they're very dependable.
Good to know, and we are moving at the behest of the state for e-filing for both criminal and civil. That we've known.
At one point, soon it will be mandatory for criminal e-filing.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, comments from members of the committee for Mr. Everhart on this proposal? Item B1A. Hearing none, I believe we are ready to vote. The chair will vote.
Member Went,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Robustelli,
Yes.
Member Martin,
Yes.
Member Soldner,
Yes.
Chairman Gordon.
Yes.
And I take it Ms. Bloomfield is still not here?
I will let you know if she's
Oh, all
around.
right. Yep.
I have not seen that she has arrived. I will welcome her as soon as I do, so that you'll know.
Thank you.
Mr. Everhart, are there any items of information in your monthly statistical reports that you would like to call to our attention particularly?
There are no items to bring to your attention.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. Everhart? Hearing none, thank you very much, sir. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Same to you.
Next, we turn to Ms. Carla Barnes, the Public Defender. She brings no items for action this afternoon. Item C,
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon.
C2A, the caseload report. Are there anything, is there anything, first of all, Ms. Barnes, thank you for being here. Is there anything in your monthly caseload report that you would care to highlight for us?
There is nothing that I'd like to add at this time. Everything's going pretty good for my office.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Ms. Barnes? All right, thank you very kindly.
Thank you.
for
Stay
being here.
safe, everyone.
You too. Section 4D, Molly Evans, the Director of the Children's Advocacy Center, who brings no items for action, but is presenting monthly statistics and her general report on pages 24 through 28. Welcome, Ms. Evans. Is there anything in your information that you would care to highlight to our attention?
No, I don't. If any of you have any questions regarding our statistics, I'd be happy to answer those.
Any questions for Ms. Evans? Hearing none. Thank you for being here. Appreciate the information you've given us.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
And you too. Turning now to Sheriff Sandage. Welcome, Sheriff. Glad you got the camera up and running.
Good evening. Finally.
Sheriff Sandage is bringing no items for action this afternoon. The statistical report found on pages 29 through 32. Anything in your information, sir, that you would care to particularly call to our attention?
Since August 13th, we've been able to transfer 56 inmates to the Department of Corrections that we had been holding on to, so that's been a huge help. Currently, we have 7 more that are waiting to be transported. So within a week or two, we should have those also. Of course, it's an ongoing process, but we are getting them into Department of Corrections now. I'm also happy to report that we have 0 cases of COVID in our jail.
Good to hear. Thank you. Are there questions for Sheriff Sandage from members of the committee at this time? Hearing none. Thank you for the information, both printed and what you've just told us. It's good to hear, good to know. Thank you for being here. Have a good evening.
You too.
I want to turn now to Coroner Kathy Yoder, who brings 1 item for action this afternoon, item F1A, request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2020 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance, found on pages 33 and 34 in our packet. I'll entertain a motion, first of all. Moved by Member Wentz, seconded by Member Schaefer. Ms. Yoder, would you care to briefly describe the proposal, anything beyond the printed word that you think we might find helpful?
From the Larry's Children's Foundation for our toxicology line. The interesting part, you know, there's a good side and a bad side to having more counties in the state of Illinois be a part of this group. So when I first started as the coroner, I brought in many other southern counties because the way that the violent death reporting system was just looking at Cook County rather than the southern part of the state. And so last year we were able to get, I think it was around 12,000, or maybe not that much. I can't remember what we had, but it was quite a bit more in our toxicology line. Because there's more counties giving data, the number goes lower because of the disbursement goes to the other counties. So it's a good thing that the data for the state of Illinois has markedly improved. It's just that our toxicology, because the amount of money that they obtain through their grant makes ours less, as well as every other county. So, you know, there's always some good and bad. That's why this amount isn't as much as last year. So, but I think it's good.
Thank you for that information. Are there questions for Coroner Yoder about this proposal? If we're ready to vote, let's go ahead and the chair will vote.
Member Went,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Robustelli,
Yes.
Member Martin,
Yes.
Member Soldner,
Yes.
Chairman Gordon,
Yes,
passes.
that proposal will then move forward. We have your monthly report on pages 35 through 37. Is there anything in that information that you would care to highlight?
Just that we're still staying up in out-of-county cases. But we're doing great in my office, so it's a great team. So nothing really, I guess, to report, so that's good.
If it's nothing out of the ordinary in your office, that is a good thing. I agree. Thank you very much. Do you have any questions for us?
Nope, just wear your masks. Thanks.
All right, ma'am. Thank you very much. Appreciate your being here and appreciate the information. Turning now to the report from the state's attorney's office. Mr. Knapp notified me earlier today that there was a good chance he was not going to be at the meeting. And as you see, Mr. Rigdon is representing the state's attorney's office. The state's attorney brings no items for action this afternoon. The caseload and forfeiture fund reports are on pages 38 and 39 in our packet. Mr. Rigdon, any information there that you particularly want to point out to us?
Nope, nothing that I need to point out to you.
All right, sir. Any questions for Mr. Rigdon and the state's attorney's office? Very good. Thank you very much. Hearing none. Appreciate your being
All
here,
right.
Brad. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
We turn now to the report from the county administrator. Ms. Rodriguez, am I understanding that the request approval of critical hire requests might have been listed as an item for action and wasn't?
That is correct. It should have been under items for action, and so it's regrettable. It's fixable. I know that the membership wanted county administration to be mindful of how much we put on stand-up. At this point, we do know that this would be, a fairly simple fix to take to that particular venue, and we do apologize for this error, and it will have to wait. It just will. But again, we've actually taken some steps today to do some changes to how we're putting together the packets, especially relative to the rule change, where we're still adjusting to adding these to the oversight committees versus just to finance. So we will be waiting and hopefully to do that at stand up.
Well, thank you for that information. It will be on our stand-up agenda prior to the county board meeting later this month. And we have obviously had the opportunity to look it over. At this point, there won't be any change to it. So it's advance notice, and we'll look forward to taking it up at stand-up later this month.
And I would also say, if I may, Chairman, that if the membership has questions for me between now and then, that they can certainly reach out to me, and I'd be happy to talk about what's on page 40 of the packet.
I appreciate that. The report on employment activities on page 41. Any questions for Administrator Rodriguez from members of the committee about that? Anything that you would care to add?
Not at this time, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Under other business and communication, the question of when we will be taking up budgetary matters. A budget meeting with the Justice Committee and the number of entities that bring information to us on a monthly basis. This is no small task. The first budget meeting would be our regularly scheduled October meeting. Then the question is, when might we want to schedule the second one? At the Health Committee meeting yesterday, the question came up about whether or not the weeks of October 12th and 19th are the only possible weeks. And I think what I may suggest, excuse me one moment here. Sorry about that, folks. When we're doing it this way, the phone rings at home and my wife was in the other room. Thank you. The question the concern that I have, and I indicated this, some of you heard this yesterday at the Health Committee meeting. It is very possible, not definite, but it's very possible that the week of the 12th, I'll be out of town. I certainly don't want to miss any budget meetings. I don't want to miss any meetings, but least of all budget meetings. Would it be acceptable to members of the committee if I were to request Ms. Morlock to put out a doodle poll for the weeks of the 19th and the 26th, which would at least allow us 2 weeks, which is what is indicated here. And as I say, I'm not certain I'm going to be out of town the week of the 12th, but it's looking like it. Could we get a doodle poll the weeks of the 19th and the 26th and get back to Julie? Is that going to be okay with members of the committee? Any problem with that? Mr. Martin gives a thumbs up. Mr. Robustelli gives a thumbs up. Are we okay with it? Good.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
just want,
I will be in touch with Member Bloomfield, or the office will be. I want to be sure she's okay with it as well. And if it turns out I'm not out of town the week of the 12th, I'll let you know that too. But I appreciate that. Member Schaefer, please.
yeah, because there's 5 of us that are on health, that are also on justice, that when we do our doodle poll, we have to make sure that we're not gonna, say only times for one or, we try and say one or the other on those, or maybe Ms. Morlock can somehow kind of put them together in a way on that. And that way it's a little bit easier for us to see what's going on.
I think that's an excellent suggestion. We don't want to trip over ourselves, least of all on scheduling a meeting. Also, I'll make the same suggestion just to complicate things a bit further that I made at Health yesterday, that we want to be sure that Broadleaf Video is, the dates that Broadleaf Video will be available, and start with them and then come to us. Is that, because we got to be sure that they're going to be available before we are. Ms. Rodriguez, can we handle it that way for this committee as well?
Oh, yes, we can, Chairman, and I'll add also another factor to this, at least from administration standpoint, if it is the week of the 26th, it would likely need to be earlier in the week rather than later, because we are in the middle of making packets for the very next week. And so then if there are too many changes to anything that has to move forward into the subsequent month, we will be at risk of violating OMA, or at least rushing to get packets together. So we're going to be cognizant of all of those factors, and we will sit down together as a team on this end and work with our partners at Broadleaf, and then consider all of the membership that overlap in many of these meetings that require 2 budget meetings.
Right. Okay, thank you for that. And when we're looking at the week of the 26th, earlier is better.
It is.
Okay. Perhaps I'll make this suggestion publicly because it's going to be public anyway. Maybe the dates you provide us the week of the 26th should end at the 28th.
That is probably what I was going to do, just to be preventative.
Well,
yeah.
we are not trying to make your life any more difficult than it already is, but we want to get the meetings in if we possibly can, and we can. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Any other business or communication to come before the committee from members of the committee or from county administration?
Nothing on this end.
Okay, hearing none. We next move to paying the bills. Am I correct that there are no transfers pending?
Correct.
I didn't see any in my packet. I wanted to be sure that I didn't miss anything. To pay the bills, we have no pending totals, so that the prepaid and fund totals are identical in the amount of $419,264.94. I'll entertain a motion to pay the bills. Moved by Member Martin. Is there a second? Seconded by Member Solder. Questions, comments, or discussion about anything having to do with paying the bills? Hearing none. All those in favor, the chair will not vote on this one. Excuse me, all those in favor need to wait for Ms. Morlock to call their name.
Member Went,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Robustelli,
I believe that Carlo has left the meeting.
Member Martin,
Yes.
Member Solner,
Yes.
and Chairman Gordon, did you say you were not voting?
I will vote, yes.
Okay, thank you.
No reason not to. There is no other business to come before the committee at this time, so that this meeting is adjourned with my thanks. Have a good